Hi, this is Kelly, your certified health coach.
And this is Scarlett, your life coach here in the Valley of the Sun. Welcome to hot in Arizona.
Gosh, it's stupid.
113 in the shade.
Stupid hot.
We're doing good. We're doing good. So we're going to try and make this quick so we don't overheat because we're in the mobile studio. First off, I want to shout out all the people affected by the fires.
Oh, yes.
We're literally burning up.
Yeah, the state is burning.
And it's been horrible. And my heart goes out to everybody. It's just so sad to watch.
It's terrible.
And the thing is that really fries me is that some of these they think are man-made. And so stop being assholes.
Right.
Seriously, what the heck?
Exactly.
Stop it. How you been, other than that?
Good.
Yeah?
Good.
Good.
You?
I've been good. I've been good. We're going to lock ourselves in here. You never know who's wandering around. Yeah. Although we do seem to be protected.
Like the police officers that are parked right over there?
Right. So we're in pretty good company, I guess.
If we have guest appearances, it's because that's why.
Because we look suspicious. I don't know if you knew or if you heard, but one of our really good friends lost her mother-in-law.
Yes, yes.
Which it's not like it was a big surprise.
Right. They knew it was coming.
They knew. Never makes it easier.
No, not
never.
At all.
I don't care. I've lost people, you know, spur of the moment. It's like you're talking to them one moment and a couple hours later they're gone.
Right.
And of course I watched my grandmother suffer in the hospital for such a long time with cancer. It was horrible, horrible. So either way, it hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts.
Loss hurts.
Unbelievably. The great thing is, everything had already been taken care of.
That's awesome.
Everything was taken care of.
That's great.
So now the family is allowed to grieve.
Right.
And not have to worry about all this other stuff that has to go along with it.
Yep, because there is what's called the business of death. And
Oh,
you have
my
all
God.
the money planning and the, you know, picking out. Oh, it's terrible.
It's horrible. You know, I remember when my mother passed away, and my stepdad, he was one of those people, like when he, you know, got that bug up his ass, everything had to be done right now. Like cleaning, all of a sudden you'd come home and all your shit would be gone because he would just throw everything away because he had to clean. And if you weren't there to claim your stuff, it went away.
Yeah.
Well, he was that way with my mother's death. It was like as soon as she died, the next day, all this stuff, it all had to be done right now. It's like I just lost my mother.
Right.
I'm an only child. I have nobody else to share this with. And my whole world has just completely changed. Can we just breathe for a minute?
Right.
Nope, it all had to be done right now. And the memorial had to be done right away. Everything right away. It's like, okay.
Wow.
I didn't get that chance to grieve.
Right.
Because she didn't have all this stuff planned ahead of time. And I wish she had. I have this stuff planned.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, my kids know. They know. My youngest, he's already scared to death that he's going to have to fly over the ocean to dump the ashes. Because he doesn't like the ocean. Loves to fly, just not over the ocean.
Yeah.
I said, get a boat. He doesn't want the ocean. He's like, does it have to be the ocean? I said, what, are you going to dump me in one of the canals? No. Yeah, it has to be the ocean. You know, a mermaid must return to the sea. I'm not staying on this land. Come on now. So, and then, you know, you see these people who go to the ocean to spread ashes and they're standing on the beach.
Right.
And, okay, the wind blows onto the beach. What the heck are you doing? Stop it.
Right.
Right? And somehow it just always seems to go out there. It just cracks me up. But I think it's so important. Now, I know that some families don't talk about it. It's uncomfortable. I don't know why.
I don't like talking about it.
What is it that upsets you? Because
I feel like you're bringing it, you know, you're like, hey, universe.
Really?
Yeah.
You really believe? Okay.
No, I don't.
No, I mean,
no, it's an irrational thing.
I'm not saying it's irrational. But it just hasn't happened.
Right.
Right? I mean, you're not getting out of this alive.
Oh, I know.
If you are,
and it's going to happen,
and you're
anytime.
keeping that secret from me, you better start sharing.
Well, I mean, you know, and we never know when it's going to happen.
No.
I mean, you know, and it's going to happen to every single one of us, but
Right.
that doesn't,
And
it's irrational, I know, and I know that it's because I have a fear of dying before I'm done,
okay,
you know, and
but
so-
you're kind of a religious person. I mean, you have a religion,
mhm.
and I'm not trying to stir things up. I'm just curious. I mean, if you have this religion and you have a belief,
Mhm.
then there really shouldn't be any fear.
I know. It's not the fear of what's next. It's the fear of leaving.
But you won't know.
I know. And it's the fear of how am I going to die? I don't want to, yeah. It's irrational.
I don't want to say that it's irrational because it's just your belief. I don't think it's irrational. I'm just trying to understand because I am somebody who is not afraid of death.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to,
Right.
right? I'm having a good gosh darn time right here.
Right.
However, I don't want to do that to my children. Think of who's going to take care of things when you're gone.
Right. I know.
Is that what you want?
I know.
You know, I look at my room, right? I look at my house, I look at my stuff, and I think about what happened to my mom's stuff. And so I'm like, I'm in charge of my stuff right now, so I'm going to see that it goes where I want it to go.
Right.
And it will be my wishes. It's not somebody, because I know that my boys will just burn the shit down, right? It'll be like, oops, oh no, I haven't. They won't care. They really won't.
Right.
They're gonna, you know, take my good jewelry to Goodwill. I don't know. It just so I need to make sure that things are going to happen the way I want them to happen, so that these other things don't happen.
Right.
But again, my kids do know, and I think it's because it's just the way I was raised. My grandmother always told me, someday when I'm not here, because I'm not going to be here forever, and when I'm not, this is what I want.
Right.
And I would tell her, Grandma, don't say that. And she'd say, honey, it's going to happen. So let's just be prepared.
Yeah.
And so when she went, as painful as it was, everything kind of went off without a hitch.
Yeah, my grandma was prepared. My grandma had picked out her casket. She had planned which funeral home. She paid for it all. Everything. She had planned out which music she wanted played.
Good for her.
Yeah, she had it all planned out.
That's what I've got my playlist ready. You know, Katrina and the Waves, Walking on Sunshine.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
I got some really good music ready to go.
I do know that I don't want a funeral.
No, it's going to be a party.
I don't want my family to have a funeral. You can have a little memorial, like at the cemetery or whatever, and then just have a get together because
I'm having a party, and nobody better wear black.
Right.
Right. It better be some good colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to be a good time because the music is going to be. It's going to be good. It's going to be a lot of 80s. So maybe people might want to wear neon. I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of 80s music and some other stuff. But I think that it is important, no matter how uncomfortable it is. It's not going to bring it on. I believe that whatever's going to happen to you is predestined. I truly believe that. I think that your life, you know, somebody somewhere knows what's happening. And that talking about it's not going to bring that on, and by making sure that it's planned is one of the greatest gifts you can give your family.
I would agree with that.
Now, a lot of people, you know, they're like, oh, but then you buy this, what if I pay for a funeral and I don't live here anymore, or I don't want to be buried here anymore? That's okay. Because the funeral people, when you buy it, let's say you find a funeral home that you like, and you go ahead and take care of these things, they put that money into a trust fund. And then, wherever you go, you know, if you move to another state or whatever, they just transfer that money to the other place.
Gotcha.
So it's already paid for. It's not like you lose the money. It's not, you know, you don't have to go back there. They just transfer that money.
That's cool.
It is cool. And another thing is that if you pay for something now, it's just going to get more expensive as time goes on.
Oh,
so now you've locked it in at this rate.
Right.
You know, it's, I've already, again, mine is bare bones because I want to be cremated. So I'm not going to get some fancy casket.
Right.
Because to me, there's no point.
Right.
Why are you going to burn that shit down? It's too pretty. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just kind of bare bones. And then my kids just, whoosh, off it goes. And, yeah. Surf's up, cowabunga. I'll be on my way. But I think that it is important that people do kind of decide and to let others know what their wishes are and to have it written down so that there is no question. If things change, like with our friend, all they had to do was tweak things a little bit. It wasn't a big deal. It was already paid for, already taken care of. They tweaked a couple things. You know, some things change.
Right.
But not a big deal. And then they'll, you know, have a celebration of life or a memorial or, you know, whatever that it is they're going to do. I think it's important that you talk about these things. Now, sometimes for families it is difficult. But if you don't just say, well, we need to sit down and have a talk about this, because a lot of times you'll get pushback.
Right.
Well, I'm not talking about this.
Right.
I think sometimes when something like this happens, you can have that conversation organically. Like if you were to go to your mom's house, cook dinner, right? Just kick back and say, wow, you know, if you're talking about friends, just start talking about friends. And, oh, our friend Pat, you know, her mother-in-law passed away, and
right.
Luckily, they had things all taken care of, which was nice.
Yeah.
And then Scarlett was telling me about a forest in Flagstaff where if you're cremated, they'll put your ashes at the base of a tree.
Yep.
And then they put a little plaque on the tree.
Yep.
And so families can go to this beautiful forest instead of a cemetery. And then you just gauge reactions.
Yeah.
You just gauge reactions. You know, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to be cremated. I want to be buried, and this is where I want to be buried.
Right.
And then you just wait for an answer, a reaction. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I would like that. Oh, I don't think I could do, you know, the forest thing, but, and that's how you start that conversation.
Right.
Because that day is going to come, period.
Oh, it is.
And what are you going to do?
Well, with my dad, I know that I'm pretty sure they've already got it taken care of. Because they talk about it. They're like, yeah, we've got all the stuff divided, and we already know what we're going to do.
And that's good. That's good.
And then with my mom, I already know what she wants to do.
That's
She's
good.
been talking about it for a long time. So
that's good. That's awesome. It's just my biggest fear. You don't want to leave that to your family because it's hard enough. You're grieving.
Right.
You don't want to have to think about these things.
Right.
You want to curl up in your bed, you know.
Exactly.
Oh, you know, with a pint of ice cream. And you don't want to think about it and talk about it. But if it's already in place and already paid for, and that's the biggest thing, is to get that stuff paid for. I don't want to leave that for my kids.
Right.
So to get that paid for. Now, for my memorial, I already have my pictures picked out.
Yeah?
Yeah. I have a little case with all my pictures, and then I also have some on a jump drive because they were on the computer. They're not photographs. But, you know, I don't know. I think it was hard, you know, doing that because I think, do people really want to see this?
Of course they do.
But they do, because when I've been to memorials, I want to see this person's life.
Yes, me too.
I want to be able to celebrate the whole thing from beginning to end, you know? So, yeah, I have pictures of when I was little and, you know, from a baby all the way up until current.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it was nice kind of going down memory lane, really, picking these pictures out. It's like, yeah, I'm going to throw this in there, and people are going to go, what? That's not her. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. And then, of course, you know, like I said, my music. But I think it's also, my mom, again, she didn't have anything, and so there was nobody really to speak. we had no clue what we were going to do. We just show up for this memorial that happened to be at the funeral home in Flagstaff. And my stepbrother, my oldest one, got up to speak. Okay, now my stepbrother, he was, I don't want to, I'm going to call him country. You know, and he had kind of long hair, and he had like he looked like ZZ Top, okay? And he was kind of a simple dude, but he got up to speak. Oh my God. I don't know where that came from. It was beautiful.
Wow.
It was
awesome.
Beautiful. And then he asked if anybody else wanted to speak. We were there for an hour and a half. Just people kept getting up to talk.
Yeah.
It's like, you really need to have something planned, because it should have only been an hour. It was like, I'm done. I'm done. You know, I know she was a great person, but stop.
Yeah.
Stop. We did have, you know, the little ladies from the, I don't know what they were from, like Rotary Club or something. They catered it, bless their hearts. And those things need to be planned, because this was like last minute, because he wanted everything done that week.
Right.
And so it just, I don't know, it just felt rushed, like, you know, like she was late for her plane and we're pushing her off going, okay, bye. You know?
Well, with Tom, it was rushed too, because I needed my brother-in-law to be involved. And he was here from New York. He was living in New York at the time, and he was already here, but he was going back that weekend. And so I needed to have, I could have pushed it off until Monday, but I needed to have it on Friday or Saturday so that he could be here. And I actually had it on Friday, and then we had they were like, do you want to have the burial on a separate day? Because we were traveling back to St. John's. I was like, nope, I want it all done in one day. I don't want to have to drag this out any longer than I have to, because it was already so hard, you know? And when you're dragging it out, it's like, oh my gosh, I just need it to be done so that I can just get to being able to grieve. And then, you know, after you have all the emotion of planning the funeral and going through all that, and then after that is when you really have to start dealing with life insurance and canceling things and doing all the business part of it. And that's terrible, because you are not in a good place to have to do that. Right.
That is very difficult.
It's like you are out of your mind, and you are not functioning like a normal person, and not being able to do the things that you normally do, and not being able to focus.
Right.
So you don't know if you're getting taken advantage of or not.
Oh, exactly. Which again, that is why it is important to have these bigger things taken care of. So that there would not have been the question, do you want this done on a separate day? You could have already had that planned to say, you know what, I want this all done on one day. And maybe back then, you know, if you had planned ahead, it would have been, well, we can do this one day and then the other, but then when it came down to it, again, it's one of those little tweaks. You know what? I know that we already had this, but we need to just kind of squish it all together on one day. And that way the big things are taken care of. Maybe, I know I'm a morbid person. I am. You know, dead bodies don't bother me. Death doesn't bother me. I went through autopsy photos on my lunch hour while I was eating. So it does not bother me to talk about it. I think it's important, and I don't think that people, you don't need to be totally comfortable with it. You don't need to. But, again, I just really am, you know, the strength in my conviction for this is just to get it taken care of, because your family is going to be devastated. And it's going to be very difficult for them. I know that I had to have all of mine done because my boys would argue over everything. They would. She wanted this. No, she didn't. She wanted this. No, we're going to do it this way. I can see it. I can hear it. So totally important. Not only that, when people die, relatives, friends, whatever, come out of the freaking woodwork.
Yep. Yep.
Well, he said I could have this. Well, she said I could do that. Well, and you're like, who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you? You know, my stepbrothers and sisters going through my mother's things, their kids, taking her makeup was, I felt violated.
Right.
I was like, what are you doing?
Well, here's a good example of, you know, making sure that you plan things ahead of time, because when Tom died, there was a big fight between me and a couple of his family members, because he was no longer going to church, but he had joined the church that I belonged to. He had joined that church, and then he was struggling in the end, and so he stopped going to church. Well, when he died, one of his sisters and his daughter did not want to have the funeral in that church. And I said, I'm sorry, that's where it's going to be. Because even though he didn't go to church, that he was a member of the church, and that's where we're going to have it. And it became a big deal. And one of the sisters planned a separate memorial at a Catholic church and did not invite me.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Oh my gosh.
Those things have to, it's a good idea to plan it so that you
and
know.
To have it in writing. You know, you don't have to have a huge estate planning thing.
Right.
But it is important to have it in writing and filed in the court. Again, that way there's no argument. There's no fighting. Another friend of ours, she had someone very close to her pass away. She was a caregiver to this person, but everything had already been taken care of. So when the people came out of the woodwork and said, that should be mine, she just showed them the court paperwork. Well, according to this person, when she was alive, it's not yours.
Yeah.
And never will be, so run along. And it nipped it in the bud, because it could, you know, if you don't plan these things, your stuff goes into probate.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Right.
What a mess. So, again, it doesn't have to be huge. They have paperwork online. Fill it out. Get it filed. Everything goes to so-and-so, period.
Yep.
You know, everything goes to my sister and she can dole it out. I'm sure your sister would love that.
Right. Right.
Right. You know, for my kids, everything is 50-50. And they can just split the house down the middle. This person can throw this stuff away and that person can donate the rest. You know, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? One of my kids is a pack rat. I can just see him hoarding all my stuff.
Right.
And the other one is the neat freak.
Right.
So I can see him just shoving it all out to the curb.
Yep.
Yep. But, you know, it does get a little more involved than that. But basically, it does not have to be. It can be short, sweet, to the point.
Right.
Get it done. Again, it doesn't have to be a big sit-down conversation. Just little things every once in a while. Hey, what do you think about this?
Right.
Find out what they want. Find out what they want. But the best thing to do is to get it in writing. And to go to the funeral home. To find a local one that you think is reputable. And that you can pay for. Now, I don't know. But I think you can make payments.
I'm sure if it's ahead of time,
I'm sure you
can probably have a payment plan.
I'm sure you can. So, try that out. Just go and talk to them. You don't have to do anything. Just talk.
Right.
Just go and talk, see what they offer. There are so many different things. You know, my grandfather, he was cremated, but he is in a thing.
A
little thing.
Like a mausoleum.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Yep, one of those.
Cool.
Yep. So many different things you can do. And the thing is, I mean, I know that you visit Tom. I don't. My great-grandmother was buried in California. I was there for the funeral and her burial. Never been back. My grandfather, I was there when he was placed. Never been back. Even when the vampire, she's in there with him. I never went to that. And I just don't go visit. Because for me, and for my belief, you know, they're in my heart. They're with me always.
Right.
So I don't go back to those places, which is why the rest of us, we've just been cremated and scattered in the places that are important to us, and that's why I'm going back to the ocean. I'm going to the ocean.
I don't believe that, you know, Tom's spirit's not there. his body is there, but his spirit is not. And I could talk to him anytime, from anywhere. But it just gives, I think a lot of times it just gives a place for them to go.
Yeah. 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 So I think it's important. Again, I'm gonna keep pounding at that, you know, to get that done. Get that done. It's important. Even with my kids, I tell them now that they are adults. Get it done. Leave everything to your brother if you want. Right. I don't care, but put it in there, because if anything happens, everything goes through probate, may end up with the state. Is that what you want?
Right.
Really?
Right.
I don't know. But that's going to bring us to what's hot in Arizona.
Okay.
So I am begging that people really truly think about this and get it done. Go find a funeral home. If you want, the oldest funeral home in Arizona is in Prescott, which totally makes sense, because that was
that
was
used
our
to
capital.
be the state capital.
Yeah, so that makes sense. And it's a place called, well, now it's called Ruffner Wakelin in Prescott. I didn't take down their address because I figure you guys can find it on your own, and you may not want to go there. But it was kind of a funny little story. Way back in the 1900s, Ruffner was the sheriff up there, and we may have company really soon. Anyway, in 1903, he was playing a poker game, and the owner of the funeral home did not have anything else to wager. So he put the funeral home up, and Mr. Ruffner obviously won. Because he became the owner of, and he was actually the owner of that. Well, his family continued that on until it was finally sold in the 1970s. Wow. Is that awesome?
That is awesome.
So anyways, it is now Ruffner Wakelin. Kind of cool. My mom, was up in Flagstaff, and I don't remember the name of it.
Owens Mortuary is who we use for Tom.
There was somebody else that used to be with Owens, and I think they kind of split up because it was a different name. It was a little bit longer name. Don't remember, but they were very, very kind, very kind. But I do suggest that you do find one, contact them. All you have to do is talk and figure these things out. Figure out a cost. It only is going to get more expensive, so take care of it now.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about that anymore. Right?
Right.
All right.
Right.
Well, I know. Death is always tough to talk about, and it's not always pretty. And this was really more for the living. Because you do want your family to be... It's hard enough as it is. It's hard enough. You don't want to make it any harder.
Right.
And again, I just want a big old celebration of life. I want everybody to party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, hopefully, I'm going to be very old. And so those attending will be also very old. So they're not... Party may be, Jell-O and...
Right.
Who knows? Big enough dance floor for the walkers. People in little walkers to be out there.
That's funny.
Thinking about that, oh my God, the picture I have in my head.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh well. Anyway, that's all I have. It just brings it back every time I hear about it, and it's just really important to make it so easy on your family. Yeah. Anyway. For them it was really easy because, again, they just had to tweak a couple things, and now they're just able to grieve,
right,
and spend quality time with their families, and so anywho, on that sad note,
all right, now we're depressed.
I know, sorry. I'm gonna get some ice cream. That's all I've got, but hey, if you are watching this on YouTube, don't forget to give this a big thumbs up, please. And share it with your friends. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to follow Hot in Arizona on Instagram, because there you get to see pictures of all the fun places that we go. You can follow me, Scarlett, at Facebook and Instagram at HeartPrintsAZ.
And me, Kelly, Healthy Heart and Happy Soul on Instagram.
Yay! Well, I hope you have a great week.
You too.
I shall. Try and stay cool.
All right.
Yes, yes. And don't start any fires.
Right.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
Oh, that's what I thought.